Butterbird Books is a place for books showing representation, books showing young black faces like my children, that they can be main characters and they don't just have to be background characters. Butter Books comes from, in my childhood, we had C Spot Run, Dick and Jane, and, there weren't any black faces, there weren't any brown faces. And if there were, they were kind of in the background, they didn't have a name, they were a friend of the protagonist in the book. I wanted my kids to see books where their faces were the main characters. As a matter of fact, the first book was about my daughters, and that's going to be an ongoing series. But Butterbird Books is mainly about representation. It's about, again, making sure that our kids see that they can be main characters too. Representation is more important now than it's ever been. It's always been important, but more important now. I think that there should be representation in the books that our children read, in the music that our children listen to, in the movies that our children see. A lot of times at this particular age, this is a developmental age where them not seeing their faces on the books that they read and the movies that they watch and the TV shows that they watch begins to, without us realizing, shape and form their opinions of themselves. So I think that Butterbird Books is extremely important from a representation standpoint. My oldest daughter, Clara, she was born prematurely, and when she would cough, it would sound like a bird. So I started calling her my bird, still call her my bird every now and again. Butterfly is for my other daughter, Layla. When she was born, when she was a little baby, she would literally, if you put her on the floor, she would crawl to each person in the room like a butterfly does flowers. She would stay with this person for a second, then she would walk over to this person, and she would crawl over to this person like a butterfly does flowers. So putting that together is what made Butterbird Books. My book writing started when they were born, but I would say writing in general started in high school. The funny story in high school was I was extremely shy. So talking to the ladies wasn't really my thing. I was popular, but popular because of who I knew, not necessarily because of anything I did. So talking to women, talking to girls was kind of difficult for me. So what I would do, I started writing poetry, read, Roses Are Red, that type of stuff. Write it, fold it up in the little, how I used to fold the little letters up, put it in the little grates in the lockers, and just leave it. I might not even told her that it was me. I might not have even signed it. But that was kind of what started the writing of poetry. As time went on, I went to Hampton University. While I was at the university, it seemed like everybody that I kind of meshed with, they were all deep in music. I was in the marching band, and we were all deep into music. So that turned into writing music. That pushed me into adulthood, and graduating. Music, I didn't continue on that path. It's still something that I'm open to, but then it just became writing children's books. It was just easily translatable when I had kids, and it just became something I liked. Every book with Butterbird Books is rhyming, specifically because I think it's easier for kids to grasp. I think it's easier for them to remember. It being repetitive helps them with their reading. And it's easier for me to write. It's easier for me to express in that way. Grand Love and Our Hair Up There. Those are kind of the things that the biggest push are behind right now. Grand Love it basically is about that bond between grandparents and grandchildren. My parents have been talking about since my babies were born how that grandparent love is just different, even before they were born, about how that grandparent love is just different, and about how they had heard that from their parents, my grandparents. So initially I wrote that about specifically my parents and my kids, but I wanted there to be more representation. So you'll see that each page is a different set of grandparents and grandchildren. So there may be a grandmother and 2 granddaughters. There may be a grandfather and 4 granddaughters and 2 grandsons, etc. So I wanted it to be an opportunity for people to be able to relate to it.
My favorite book is Our Hair Up There because it tells, there's so many characters, and it tells, the types of hairstyle and how it suits them, and make sure you get one.
It's a book about the hair of the African diaspora. And what I mean by that is all these things that we as Africans in America have made popular, the cornrows, the afro, the duke, the hairstyle called the duke, which I'm just learning about that's what it was called. These hairstyles that we have made popular, it's kind of a celebration of that. I obviously couldn't get every hairstyle in it, but it kind of just delves into the pride that we have in our hair, but it kind of sums it up in the end in that, our hair is not all that we are.
I think it would be really great for my dad to be an author because it's like really inspiring. Like, not just white people being authors and illustrators, black people, there's more black people in stories, and so other people can see, so they can be inspired to be an author. I'm really proud of my dad. It's inspiring and supporting.
Oh, you caught me. I like to flex the mental muscles. This is Moses with Butterbird Books. Butterbird Books on Instagram, Butterbird Books on TikTok, www.butterbirdbooks.com. Please grab a book for yourself, for your child, for your uncle, auntie, niece, etc. And we'll look forward to hearing from you at butterbirdbooks.com. This is the CFO, Clara, at butterbirdbooks.com, and the CTO, Layla, at butterbirdbooks.com. We're looking forward to hearing from you.